Hey, how you doing tonight, Dev?
How you doing tonight, boss man?
Another day in paradise.
That's what I keep telling myself. One of these days.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Was that a new intro we had?
Yes, that was a new intro we had. Yes. What'd you think?
I thought it was great. I like mixing things up every once in a while just to keep things fresh, keep people on their toes, and regular TV shows and movies do it. Why shouldn't we?
They have bigger budgets.
Yeah, okay. That they do indeed have bigger budgets than we do. I mean, we're basically running around with a hamster wheel as our power source, I think, sometimes, and bubble gum and baling wire.
That's true. Hey, check to make sure we are all over the place. And
yep, we are
light. We have a special guest tonight, Dave O'Connor from Panther Games. And I just turned off all the lights. That's not good. All right, now we'll go back on. There we go. Nothing's easy.
Are you doing that through Alexa?
No, I have the Apple, whatever they call this, home app. All right. All right, everybody, we'll get going in a second. We'll bring Dave on. Dave is live from down under in Australia. And honestly, I called him just about less than 2 hours ago and said, hey, like nothing like waiting until the last second, right?
Of course not. We're professionals. That's how we roll.
Okay, there we go. That's good with the light. Like I'm in a disco. All right, let me bring on Dave. Hey, Dave, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's been a while since we've talked in person. I mean, it's been about, 3 or 4 years since I've seen you last?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it probably even more, but there you go.
Yeah. So how's everything down there? I guess you're going through your summer now and getting ready to, right?
Well, it's sort of spring. Canberra's always hot and cold at this time. You never know from one day to the next.
Okay.
So today it's pretty warm. It's nice.
All right. So what we're going to do is let's just say hello to the guests here. We got Johnny. And see, we'll take your son any day over you, Johnny. I don't know why you keep bringing yourself on. Get him on there, man. And hey, Rich, how you doing? Chet's here. Private public. See, you let anybody on. Mo's now on here too, man. All right, well, I guess we'll just jump right into it, guys. Hey, Rough Swordsman, how you doing, buddy? I guess he's still talking to me after that last interview I did with him.
Well, I'm surprised he's still talking to me after the last time I talked, and I think I called him Dennis instead of Dean. So, mea culpa, mea maximus culpa. So,
hey, Dennis, how you doing? Neil, all right, we're going to jump in. As you guys know, Dave O'Connor has been making games in this industry since I was in high school. A lot of people have been asking when Trial of Strength is going to go on to Kickstarter. We're going to be doing that probably very, very, very soon, maybe in the next week. It's just now getting Kickstarter to approve the Kickstarter page, which seems to be a delay now that there's so much of a glutton of them since the COVID shutdown. Dave's big call to fame, I guess, would be Command Ops. Dave, wouldn't you not agree with that?
Yeah, Command Ops is our main product at the moment. It has been for quite some time.
All right. Well, I know because I got to do it last night. We put all the public beta live, and what I'm going to do is we're talking here. Click on the banner here. Well, you know what? Let's talk with the Command Ops 2 core engine, because I don't know if a lot of people know this. If you haven't tried Command Ops, okay, by many people in the industry, and that's just because I like Dave, he's probably got the best AI of any computer game that's a war game, at least. And you can download the core engine on Steam It is free. And I'm going to let this little link go on the bottom right there. Okay. And you can basically go to Steam. It doesn't cost you anything to download it. And you can try it out. How many scenarios come with that, Dave? Do you know?
It comes with 3 in the core.
Okay, so you got 3 scenarios you can try out. Won't cost you a penny. Okay, and oh, I mean, I got the wrong ticket up there for you. Sorry, it's this one. That is for the core engine. It's a free download. What I was showing there, we're going to get to in a minute. Dave has put. Oh, how long have you been working on the new edition or the new version of Command Ops 2?
3 years.
Right. Okay. And I also believe you're getting ready to come out with Bradley's Bay. Is that what it's called?
Bradley at Bay, yes. It's a module covering the Lorraine and Hurtgen Forest sectors from 44, 45.
Okay. So Dave and I have known each other. Wow, we've been knowing each other for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, probably longer than I'd really care for, but there you go.
Hey, buddy, you can't always choose your friends, right?
No, you can't, especially when they're your publisher.
That's right. Okay. Guys, if you have any comments or things you want to know from Dave, start asking. Let's not make poor Dave have to be on here longer than he needs to. And I guess what everyone really wants to know is, what have you added, changed, adjusted, new features that's now being playable in the public beta? I will put that link back on for those who want to find it. But Dave, give us a lowdown.
Sure. So look, as I said, we've been working on it for 3 years. Basically, we've overhauled the AI. We've in many areas gone through root and branch to change things, to overcome issues that we've identified or the users have identified, and we've addressed most of those that we can think of. Probably the biggest features that we've added, and I'm just going to look at my little cheat list here. So we've overhauled the basing of headquarters, artillery, and logistics centres, and we've added new basing code for senior headquarters. One of the biggest complaints, I suppose, we had before was that people would complain that brigade and above headquarters would be leading the charge and heading out in front of the troops. So primarily this was due to a timing issue, but we decided to address the problem by basing those artillery separately. So the basing code now, it will do what you do in real life. It will stage along a route. So it will assess whether or not it's okay to move forward and how far they can go forward. It will go to that location and will wait until such time as the forward echelon troops move forward and clear the path, and then it will move up again. And it'll do the same for artillery. So you'll have now, what you'll see is the artillery will be online more often than it was before. In fact, we've overhauled the artillery fire control code in general. It's a lot more realistic. We've added in a new code that manages or modifies the degree of accuracy for artillery based on the training of the units. So we've got an upcoming Golden Cold module that we've been working on for some time now. It's a little bit away yet, but that involves Russian troops from 1939 against Japanese in Mongolia, and the level of training was pretty poor on both sides relatively. So we've modified, added this code here to manage that, but it works well too on the West Front. We've got troops that are poor quality now will find that their artillery is not as accurate, and they'll have to use a hell of a lot more basically to get the same effect. So what else have we done? I suppose probably another big ticket item is partial replanning. Previously, if a force encountered the enemy and, for instance, it realised it was blocked, and it couldn't do a standard reassessment like it might be to bypass or to launch an attack, and it may have done that once and has failed. What it would then do is replan, but it replanned everything under its command. So if the higher echelon forces did that, you would see major changes to the plan. And that often saw forces pulling out of the area they were in, giving that terrain up to the enemy, and then moving off to some other location. Now what we do is we do an assessment as to whether or not that's required. And if it's not, then we will go through the plan, keep the bits we want, and replan others. And we have functions for a multi-plan spill, which means there'll be a spill of all positions, and you might say you've got 5 sub-plans, and 3 of those you want to replan, and you might want to spill the forces between those 3. We have a multi-plan top-up, which will effectively come along and say, okay, I've got this new batch of forces, such as reinforcements arrived. In the past, that would involve a replan of everything. Now, we can simply say, which plans do we want to make eligible for them to receive reinforcements? And then we can choose which one of those, or we can split them across those. And so that works quite well now. The beauty of this is the amount of replanning across the board is reduced dramatically, and we'll see plans prosecuted far better. Ooh, what else we got? We've done a lot of low-level stuff as well. We've overhauled the fire events, the bombardments. We've changed the doctrine for moves and attacks. I'm also still refining the attacks at the moment as we speak, in light of some of the feedback we've already got back from the open beta. So one of the beauties of the open beta is that we get much wider testing, and one of the things we found here was that people do launch attacks from many, many, many kilometers away, which we really hadn't anticipated. And we found that when you do this, if it's a downstream effect from my new headquarter basing code, is that the headquarters will be deemed too far away, and they'll call off the attack. So I've had to change that now, and I've got a fix already done, and I'm just testing that here locally, and we'll push that onto another version of the open beta shortly. So the attacks and the moves are much more sophisticated now. We're managing a lot more nuances in terms of how a force may find itself when it starts to plan. If you've got part of your force is already close to the objective, it'll make them independent and leave them where they are, or give them a separate task. And the main body might then deploy in its own right separately. So it's a lot more sophisticated in terms of its management of the plan. There's been also a major overhaul of the scheduling code to streamline finesse, get rid of a lot of bugs that were in there. And we've also made changes to the intelligence system to make it a little bit more sophisticated, so that I could go into a lot of detail, but I won't do that. It'd bore most people. So, look, needless to say, it's better. The other things that we've done is to the user interface. We've streamlined, gone through every dialogue and tried to finesse those and tweak those as best we can with the current user interface framework. What we'd hope to do in the future is ditch the current MFC that we're using. That's Microsoft Foundation classes. It's a very old user interface environment, but that was the best thing when we started. That was a long time ago. So we want to next push on from that. We want to, but first we have to separate out the AI from the user interface. At the moment, it's pretty much integrated. So we're going to separate that out, make its own dynamic link library, and then we'll write a separate user interface in some other thing like Unity or something like this. So we'd like to be able to get 3D maps and mapping data and everything else to be able to import those and produce a much better looking interface. But that's the next step. So that's about it, really.
Well, that's a lot, man. Well, for 3 years, you've been pounding the pavement there. I'm going to bring on some guys. I'm going to bring up the questions for you to answer, Dave. First one's by Johnny Grogan, and he wants to know how's the learning curve for the game. Buddy, if you can't play, get your son to teach you.
Sorry, say that again. Can you repeat? I just missed that last bit.
Look on the screen. Can you see his comment there?
Oh, how's the learning curve for the game? Right. Well, look, Command Ops can be very easy or very hard. It just depends on how you want to play it. The AI will do most things for you, but the art is essentially at the start. Keep your orders at the higher level. Resist the urge to micromanage. Now, for most, say, board gamers that come along and want to start playing, that's an issue because they're used to micromanaging everything because they have to. They've got no choice. But now you don't have to do that. You can let the AI manage things. So we tend to recommend that most of the scenarios are involving brigade, division, or corps. And we recommend giving orders at the battalion level and don't go down beyond that unless you absolutely have to for something that you need to. And we find that the best way to play. Most people can then focus on the bigger issues, i.e., where do I want to go? What do I want to achieve? And let the how basically to the AI, and it will do a reasonable job. In terms of learning it, we've still got our tutorial videos out there at the moment. You can access those. They're up on the Steam workshop area. You can access the videos. They're also on YouTube. And there's a series of videos on how to play and walkthroughs of the tutorial.
Yeah, we have the videos also on the Lock and Load YouTube site. Okay, what else we have here? Oh, here's another one for you, Sam Jum. Is there a tutorial? Yes, there's definitely tutorials. Lots and lots of tutorials. Okay, I'm gonna just switch the banner, guys. Like I said, if you've played this, if you haven't tried it yet, okay, you can download the core engine for free. It has 3 scenarios. You can give it a full run for your money if that's what you want to do. And like I said, many people consider it the best AI in a computer game on the market for probably the last 15 years. Okay. We got some more questions coming up. Hold on. Hi, IG Gesture. And let's see. Okay, Neil's got a question for you. Here's that one.
So, yeah, it was a bit touchy. The artillery, in the past, you'll find that we had various different models trying to perfect it that, to be basically crude, fell short. So we've essentially gone through and overhauled that, and we're very happy with it now. Our beta testers, in-house beta testers, have all given it the thumbs up. So far, the open beta testers have commented that they're happy with it too. But that's not to say it can't do with more fine-tuning. AI is never perfect, never will be. It's always a work in motion. So, but at the moment now, we model things like as you go up the command chain, it will, the further you go up, the less likelihood you're going to get artillery support from above. If you're a company, say for instance, wanting to call in final protective fire on your defensive position, then if you go up to your battalion, yes, you'll probably get mortars coming in. If you go up to your brigade, yes, you'll probably get some field artillery. But by the time you go up to your division and above, it's going to be less likely that you will get those. We manage things like the communications now. For instance, one of the things we're doing with the Gulp and Gold, for instance, is radios were very few on the ground, and effectively, if you were not at the brigade or division, you didn't have a radio. So you know, the delay in getting artillery to fire was huge. So predominantly you use your big guns for set piece bombardments rather than for reactive type of fires. And so we model that now too as well.
All right. Chet wants to know if there's multiplayer. Yeah,
there's a multiplayer. It's 1-on-1. We've spent some time overhauling and fixing the multiplayer. We had introduced into that an error from one of our previous programmers, which took us a while to track down, but we did, and we've managed to get that working now, and we've tested that. The last test that we did worked fine, but we need more people to come along and give it a good workout.
All right, sounds like a challenge, Dave.
Always a challenge.
Okay. Neil has a question for you. Here's another one.
We had some independent scenarios developed by users for the Normandy battles a long time ago. They've probably fallen out of use now. We've overhauled the scenario data structures really heavily, and a lot of those may not work or import correctly. But if you've got if you've got a scenario that worked under the last release build, you should be able to import it and convert it on the fly. If that fails, then it may need some attention from us directly. You can always email us and we can have a look at them. But we have found some scenarios are just so old that they won't convert.
All right. I'll try taking this one. Dennis asks, so would you say it's as detailed as Gary Grigsby's War in the East, if you know about the game?
Well, it's a far different game than War in the East. War in the East is the AI on that is not, well, I don't wish to disparage them, but it's a far different type of AI than ours, and it's a micromanager's game, so it's quite different. There you have to issue orders just about everything that you do, and it works in effectively. It's like a board game in that you work in turns. Our game works it's a continuous game, so it's event driven, and the time interval is very small. It's 1 minute, and I forget what it is in Gary Grigsby's War in the East, but it's a lot longer.
I think it's a week.
A week, yeah. So quite different. And in ours, you can interact at any time. In there, you have to wait for your turn before you can do anything. So it's quite a different style of play. And but I generally find comparing apples with oranges is not really worthwhile. So that's all I really want to say on this.
Yeah, you also got to remember too that your game is real time.
That's right.
Everything is constantly going on. It's not a click fest. I want to make sure to make that very clear. It's not a click fest, but it is. You're always doing something. I mean, this is not a game where you can run off and go to the bathroom and get a sandwich, guys.
Actually, you can. You just pause the game.
Yeah, that's cheating. That's not real time, then.
It's not. I don't call it real time. It's continuous time. So, you've got the ability to pause and go and go have a break. No problems.
Okay. All right. I have. Let's see. For those who don't know about the game, I do have some screenshots here. I'm not exactly sure. I know these are the newer modules. That's another thing too, guys. There is currently 7 DLCs for this game, Dave.
I think it's 8, but I mean, like, I could be wrong. You might have taken one down. I don't know.
No, I got everything up there. Oh, and that's another thing too, guys. And this was initially worked by me, and Dave agreed. We will only be selling the game through Steam, simply because it makes life a lot easier on us on builds and updates. Dave can make the update, put the builds up. Before, we always constantly going back and forth, and if someone had a problem on, with a PC or thing, or they want, it doesn't work on my machine. Just so you know, anything you buy on Steam, whether it's our products or anybody else's, you get, is it 2.5 hours and 10 days, I believe it is. Maybe it's 2 hours and 10 days. So if you try any game and you don't like it and you played less than 2 hours and it's under 10 days, you can get a full refund. You don't have to, you just request it and it's done. And it just makes life a little bit easier for us. So if you see, you'll find it on our site, all of Dave's games, and we link you directly to the Steam equivalent. Okay. Johnny, I'm sorry, I'm answering a question. Yeah, Command Ops 2 is a much superior game, and I feel the development has been over a decade. So yeah, I would say you really should get version 2, and that's out now. Now the beta is out too, so you can get the core engine, which is free, so it's not going to cost you anything. And then there's a beta. Now, does that upgrade, Dave, the 2.0 you have now? Or is it a completely separate build?
The beta build is, in essence, what we'll release it once we get the green light. So we'll just convert it over to the final as soon as we got a version that we're happy with. I hope to do this in the next few weeks. As I said, I'm currently working on a fix for the attack, and we'll get that out next week. And then hopefully, if that's all the major issues that are going to be raised, we'll go final the week after, probably. And once we do that, we'll release Bradley at Bay, and essentially then we'll have, with the release version, all the previous modules will be converted and updated. So you'll be able to run with it straight away.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to throw up, here's a comment I put up there real fast from Neil to Johnny. Okay. Dave, here's a screen. I don't know if you want to try to explain a little bit what's being done on this screen. I'm going to take off the comment. So,
right. Okay, I'm trying to work out where it's from.
I think it's on the last game you released, not the Bradley one, but
oh, this is Herdkin Forest. Okay,
right.
This is from Bradley at Bay, and it shows the green forces on the left, the Americans, and they're pushing through to the west or the right of the screen. You can see at the moment there's a regiment selected there, and it's showing its orders, and they're basically to move to that location. It's got an open-ended rectangle there to indicate where its bulk of its forces will end up once it reaches there. And on the right of that, you'll see an edit task screen, and that shows you all the controls that you've got to massage your task. It'll come automatically seeded with the defaults, and it will immediately calculate, for instance, how long the route is likely to take, and it will set an end time for you. But you can massage that, and you can change that simply by clicking on it, and you can change other features about it in terms of its what type of route you want taken. If you don't specify it, it'll generally be an avoidance route, but if you wanted to, for instance, go the shortest route and just go straight, virtually in a straight line, you can choose shortest, for instance. And you've got various other settings that control things like the aggression level of the troops, their rate of fire, how much losses they're prepared to take to achieve that objective, and expenditure for supplies. You can change the frontage, and you can also say whether or not you want them to rest. If it turns, say, for argument's sake, nighttime, most troops will end up trying to rest. You can override that or allow it. The last things on that little dialogue down there at the bottom you can see are the estimated orders delay. It's one of the features of our engine is that it models the fact that in real life, when a commander reacts to an event, there's time for him to assess, work up a plan, and issue orders, and then start moving. And that we refer to as orders delay. And the smaller the size force, the shorter the delay. The bigger the force, of course, there's more coordination, more time to marshal troops, and it takes longer to get going. So, for instance, in this particular instance, you can see that for that regiment, it's going to take 40 minutes before it starts moving. Now, if that was a division, that might be 2, 3, 4 hours. So players have to factor that in. You can, of course, in the scenario settings, override that and say that you only want to have, for instance, minimum orders delay or no orders delay, if you like. So you've got control over that. Going over to the left, you can see the order of battle screen, which will, when you select a force, it shows that unit on that screen, and you can select units directly from the order of battle, and then issue orders. It's up to you. All of these dialogues don't have to be on here. You can hide them away. Over on the left, you'll see a force window. In this case, it's got the regiment that we've selected, and it's got details about it. There's a whole lot of different tabs in there that you can select. It will show you what its equipment is, and supplies, who its commander is, what his values are, how much supplies it's got, and a log of events that it's participated in. There's a series of bars which give you a snapshot, if you like, on the unit's effectiveness, and then there's a series of 2 columns of data relating to how many people are in it, how many armoured fighting vehicles, guns, etc. Above that, you'll see 3 small tabs, and one of those is the orders palette, and that has the orders that are available. If a force can't do a certain order, then it'll be grayed out. You won't be able to choose it. And you simply click on one of those, or you use the keyboard shortcut for it, and you then issue your orders. Above that is tools palette, and you can use this to generate paths, routes, if you like, to different places. If you select a force, you can see where it would go if you set an objective to a point. There's other tools for line of sight, enemy threats, and above that is the mini map, weather, the victory meter, and the scenario details, and of course the controls that allow you to run the game. It's currently paused, and you can go run it slow, medium, or fast, or you can hit the run until button, and that's specified time that you want it to run to, and then it will automatically stop. So that's the screen at the moment. In terms of the map itself, it's a vector drawn map, and you can see here that most of this is woods. You can, if your eyes are good, you can see the elevation on this thing here, represented by shades of brown, and you can see some urban terrain there around Hurtgen, and you can see the road network. So I think I've described all those things. I think I'll call it a day there.
Hold on 1 second there. Okay. I got a question from someone offline on a different site. They want to know, are we going to update the manual? Are we going to make a printed manual available? Toss out a
look, the short answer to that is I can update the manual or I can work on development. I can't do both. The manual itself takes a lot of time. So I'm of two minds of this. I would rather go through and maybe make a series of little tutorial movies that can describe, say, for instance, the changes from the last time. But to update the manual, for instance, would probably take me 2-3 months worth of work. And that's a significant chunk of time. It depends on how important people view that. I'd be interested in feedback from people as to whether or not they think that's worth it.
Okay. Dave, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Hold on, everybody.
You're listening to On the Air with Lock and Load Publishing, and we'll be right back.
All right, Dave. Someone asked, because he saw the word battle generator, is there a battle generator in Command Ops 2?
No, there's not. Again, that's something that people have asked from time to time. It all depends, I suppose, on where people want to put the development effort. But they have to remember that the development team here is me full-time and Pablo, who does it part-time. So we have to be very careful about where we focus on, because we can largely see ourselves doing features that people want. We only want to do those that a lot of people want. So again, I'm open to doing a generator, but I'd want to know that there's big demand for it.
All right. I'm going to have him put up another screen. I don't know, Dave, this is any different than what you just showed, but I wanted to give the people a chance in case there was. Is this any different than the last one, or is there anything different on here that you may want to explain?
Well, the main thing here is that you can see on the force data display on the left, someone has selected one of the weapon systems that the regiment has, and you can look at its data there. You can see a general description of it here. And the other tab that's hard to read there is performance, and that would show you various characteristics about that weapon, like its effective range, minimum range, maximum range, the weight of shell, burst radius, things like that. And you can see that the unit that's been selected on here on the map, it's the one that's marked yellow, and you can see a direct line up, and someone's issued an order to it there, or no, it's not. It's been issued an on-call support order, which means it will fire in support of subordinate units.
Yeah.
Someone's called that fire in, and you can see the target over there is also highlighted yellow, has a little icon on top of it. And when you selected that, you can see the radius of for the particular heavy ordnance that's been selected. So this is a gun, and it has a burst radius of, for the whole pattern, for the whole regiment of guns displayed in the black. So that's what you see there. That's about it, really. I think that's the only difference. Oh, you might notice on the left over here, the orders palette, you can see that because they've selected this unit, only certain orders are there and the rest are grayed out. So it can move, it can defend, it can fire, it can bombard, rest, and reorg. And all the rest are not available to it.
All right. People asking what games are in the thing. Let's see if this helps.
Right. Well, they're the different modules that we've got up here at the moment. Bastogne covers the area in the Bulge, the Battle of the Bulge in 1944, around Bastogne, where the Germans broke through and the 101st was defending there. The West Wall is a series of battles from along the West Wall in late 44, early 45. So Geilenkirchen, Overlorn, there's quite a few different scenarios there, mainly from the area north of where the Bulge was, so in that area around Aachen and its environs. The Cauldron is basically taken from North Africa, Crete, and those battles there in 40, 41, 42. Foothills of the Gods is the Greek campaign in 1940. Highway to the Reich is the a lot of people would know it as Arnhem, the airborne operations that span basically from Arnhem, Nijmegen, Eindhoven, where the Allies were trying to lay down a carpet of airborne troops to have 30th Corps from race up and secure a crossing over the Rhine. Ride of the Valkyries is the partner to Bastogne. It covers the other half of the Bulge, basically in the north, and it includes Piper's efforts to try and breach the Allied line and cross over into Belgium. Knock on All Doors is if you like, a hypothetical based on the Bulge, but it's from the original German staff plan, not the one that Hitler imposed on them. And so it effectively looks at what would have happened if that staff plan had been implemented. And so the scenarios there are all quite large. So they're dealing with a corps and in some cases an army. So it's a lot of forces on there. So if you like a big scenario and you like to look at, and you don't mind looking at a what-if campaign, then it's a good one.
So Dave, what would be the last one that came out? Wouldn't that be?
Well, Knock on All Doors was, well, actually the last one would have been West Wall, and Knock on Doors was before that.
All right, I'm going to throw up at least a screenshot of this West Wall on this, just to give people an idea of all the scope that the game has, because I don't think people realize how many modules are for this are out there. And hold on, this one is from West Wall.
Yep.
And I don't know if there's anything on this screen you'd like to point out, but or where we're fighting exactly right now in this map.
Well, you can probably see on this map here. This is, I think this is the Overlorn one, but no, this is encircling Aachen. This was for those unfamiliar with World War II West Front. Aachen is the shortest route from the Normandy beachhead into Germany, and it was the most heavily defended by the Germans. And the British and American forces. So the American forces by Hodges' First Army there, and the British above them were basically trying to encircle Aachen. And it saw a lot of pitched battles there in basically open country. Well, non-wooded anyway, but it was heavily urbanized. So a lot of villages, a lot of towns, and it saw a lot of seesawing action. And in this particular instance down here, I'm just looking at the screen as we've got it here. You can see there that there's a group of American forces highlighted there, the ones that are yellow, and they're doing an attack via Badenburg and down in towards Werselen, and there you can see those assault markers there, and there's a supporting attack going in to the right of that, and I'm also having a look at the screen around you, you'll notice they've got a message log. You can bring that open, and that will scroll messages up to you, keeping you informed about developments that are occurring. You can have multiple force displays so that you can compare forces, or you can look at different key units that you want to keep a focus on. And in this case, you can see, for instance, the middle one there has shows its equipment and supplies on hand. And up the top, you can see the plan display, and it shows you all the orders that you've issued. And you can select on one of those, it'll immediately go to it and highlight the unit in question, and you can then interrogate it.
All right. Dave, what would be the next one after Westwall?
Well, it'll be Bradley at Bay, and
No, I mean going backwards.
Going backwards. Okay. The one before that would be Knock on All Doors, co-ed.
Hold on, let me see what I have here, image-wise.
Right. Okay. So as you can see, this has a huge map, and has lots of forces. So this is taken from Kruger's Big Knock. Okay. The basic concept for the German staff plan, and hence the name of the module, was to knock on all doors along the front, because they had poor intelligence on the Allies by and large. They weren't sure where the strong points were exactly. So by knocking on the doors, they would probe towards these areas. And once they decided that they had an idea where the weak points were, they would break through there and then try and encircle those forces along the line, effectively trying to destroy them. And it only called for limited depth to be obtained. And the idea then was to go on the defensive and wait for the Allied to counterattack in favourable terrain. So that was the plan. And as you can see here, this is taken from the start positions. And the Germans we're showing icons here which are cut down versions of the normal icon. You can configure this to display the reduced size image as well. So that's what you're seeing there. And there's a window down the bottom, scenario objectives. These are if you like, they're the orders the player has been assigned by the scenario designer. And currently we've selected this secure bridge, and it's highlighted by the icon over here on the left, which has a little range ring around it, which means you've got to secure everything in there. So I think that's about it really from that one. At the moment, no orders have been issued, so this is just right at the start. This is basically what you do when you're assessing what you've got to do and how best to achieve it.
Right. What do you feel is the major thing you still want to add to this, Dave?
Well, there's lots of major things. What's
your number one?
Number one, well, look, part of the problem is my number one would be to overhaul the UI and provide a more modern looking user interface with 3D maps, and I'd like to have the ability to be able to suck in mapping data from digital map databases, generate a map. I'd like to be able to create a scenario. I'd like to do a modern version, to be truthful, and have it, mainly because you can't get digital data from World War II, right? So there's just none around, and any digital data you suck in won't be a true representation of what you're fighting over or what you would have been fighting over back then. But I would like to do that. And we could create a map scenario generator along with that as well, so that it could provide a lot more, how would you say, bang for buck to the user in terms of playing. They would get a lot more options to play different types of games. So I'd like to do that, but I suppose the biggest shortcoming for us is that I'm not really a user interface programmer. I'm an AI programmer, and we lack a user interface person. But also too, we don't make that much money from this, so we have to try and deliver the best value we can for the resources we've got. If we could employ another couple of user interface programmers at a good rate, we could deliver a lot more.
That makes sense. Hey guys, do you have any questions for Dave? David, is there any other game you want to pick out or talk about, or is there anything else you want to go over?
At the moment, no, not really. I'm basically here for whatever people want to know about. I've probably done more than my fair share of talking, haven't I?
All right. Well, as I, if you're interested in any of those modules, what they're about, you can get them on Lock and Load. Okay, they will push you towards Steam at this point. Let me just find it. Hold on. Okay, that is the URL, the short URL to go to on Lock and Load. If you go to our store, you go to categories, you'll see Command Ops 2. Just click on it; it'll show everything that's available right now. Okay, and it does show you the new Bradley game, but that is obviously still in the works. Just turn this one off.
It won't be long.
About when are you thinking?
Well, before Christmas.
This Christmas.
Well, I think we're talking. Yes, this Christmas. How dare you? But at the moment, we've got it out and we've been testing it, and we've essentially waiting on this fix that I'm doing for the attacks to change, if you like, some of the behavior at start for the forces, and we hope that will address this issue. And once we've got that going, we're ready for release.
Okay. All right, and here's another comment. Private Public, I love your image, by the way.
Too cute by half. Well, behind the scenes in game development is probably not as exciting as you might think. It's a lot of hard work, and but it is enjoyable to see the fruits of your labor in the end bring some happiness to other people. So that's always good.
All right, guys, if you don't have any more questions for Dave, we'll let him go unless anyone has anything.
I've got something, and this is going way back in the depths of my memories, well over 10 years ago, possibly even further back to 15 or 20 years ago. I seem to recall a little game, Market Garden game, that seemed to have used the exact same procedures and layout and orders that is what Command Ops 2 is now. Did you guys have a game way back then that has evolved over the years into what Command Ops is?
Yeah, we did.
Now. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
It's called Airborne Assault, and it originally came out. When was that? 2000 and I think 2000. I think it was 2000. Yeah. And we did that. Originally, we got some seed funding from the government here. Came out in 1996 and set up an organisation called the Multimedia Enterprise, and we got we were the first major contract let under that, and that was to develop a series of games based on an engine, and so we started off on that, but there was a change of government, and they axed the bloody thing. We got sold off to venture capitalists who tried to basically shafters, and we had to take them to court. And so we lost 3 years of development time fighting in the courts. We eventually won, but by then things had moved on, and we released. We had to spend another year of work, and we finally got out Airborne Assault. But without the extra line of development funding, we weren't able to do what we really hoped to do at that time. And so we had to find another, if you like, avenue for funding the development. And so we switched at that stage just to focus on the Airborne Assault product, and we developed that into Command Ops and the original Command Ops, and brought that out. So that's sort of a little bit of history and how that focused on. Yeah.
Now, for those you guys don't know, Dave, you had something on the Dnieper River that was it was originally a Mac game.
Sorry, which?
It was on the eastern front or along the river, the Dnieper.
Fire Brigade?
Yep, river.
Yeah.
Fire Brigade, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first computer game I played.
That was our first computer game, which we started designing in 1986. And that was designed on a Mac. I was a Mac man then. That was a long time ago. Yeah, so we developed it for the Mac and the IBM and Amiga and Atari.
Wow.
Atari ST. So that's a blast from the past. And that was more of your, computerized board game than what Command Ops was. We did that for a period of time, but it wasn't until 95 I sat down with Paul Scoble, who was my partner for a long time, and we set out what's the war game we'd like to have, and we sat down to design that, and that basically started off the development of what's become Command Ops. So it's a long time in germination.
All right, and what many people may not realize is you have a long board game history as well. And why don't you tell us a bit about that? Okay.
Well, you can probably see behind me Trial of Strength picture there.
This is going to cause tons of, when is it going to come out? When is it going to come out?
Yeah, I know. I can't, as I said, I'm one man trying to do lots. So it's always hard. The Trial of Strength, I started doing Trial of Strength when I was working in the Defence Department here in Canberra, Australia, and desperate to get out of the public service, so I decided I'd venture into something more secure, like board war games. What could go wrong? Now, I was a board war gamer well before I joined the public service, but it was a passion of mine, and I teamed up with a guy, Steve Barnes, and he was also working with me in defence, and we would spend lunchtimes together designing what we'd like to have in the game. And then one day I said to him, I said, well, let's do it. I think it was shocked him a bit. So I put in my savings, and we got paid for a graphic artist, and I learnt more about the printing trade than I ever really wanted. And we sat back and designed, trialed it out, and then produced it. It came out in 1985. Yep. So we started that in 1980. So it was quite a while in the process. That took it over to America, and it sold pretty good. So from that, I felt emboldened, and I teamed up with another fellow, Steve Udick, who had a concept for a game called Shanghai Trader, and we did that, and that was a sort of a fun game. It's not a war game per se. And then we did another one called Warlords, which was China in disarray, and it was a sort of like an strategic area conflict for China, basically in that period in the 1930s, where the nationalists were trying to fight off the communists, which were trying to fight off the Japanese. So, yeah, so they're my 3 board games. I haven't done any other board games since. I suppose I got to the stage where I thought I could probably get as much out of a board game in terms of modeling as I could. And when computers came along, I said, hey, here's the way to do it. So that's been my trajectory.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions for Dave? Oh, they are quiet tonight. They're usually not this quiet.
I bored everyone to sleep. There you go.
No, we have about the same amount of people we normally have on, honestly. But you know what it is? A lot of these people watch it during the course of the week or two. So you get a lot of, there's no reason to watch it live per se, unless you're online and, there's nothing better to do. It's reruns. At least this is not a rerun, Oh, here comes a question. Let's see what he has to say. All right. Yeah. I have 5 regrades somewhere
Good on
around
you, Neil. You're a champion.
Okay. I don't know what this is, Gary, but I'll post it up here. Better not be porn. Hold on. I think that's a link to the YouTube videos. Gary, am I right?
No, you're not right. It looks like it's a music video that he's linked.
Really?
Yep. I'm looking at it on Facebook.
Gary. Okay. All right, well, Devin, unless you have something else, or Dave, you got something else, I'll let you go. I don't want to waste your whole day online talking to us.
Yeah,
no, I don't have anything more. So. I don't have anything more. I just wanted to make sure that the Airborne Assault was what it was, what I thought it was, and because every time I've seen Command Ops over the years, I would have to stop and go, that looks like that old game I played way back in the day. So I just was never quite sure.
Okay.
Well, anyway, David, thanks very much for having me. I really appreciated my opportunity to talk, and hopefully I'll be back and we can have another session at some time in the future.
Well, you know what? Okay, so what are we looking at? The Bradley game, you thinking 2 weeks, you said?
Look, I hope 2 weeks, yes, but we will see.
All right, well, when the game comes out, we'll have you back and we can talk about the actual features of that game.
Yeah, maybe we could do a walkthrough of something, and so people can actually see how the game plays. And look, seeing is, for a lot of people who've come from turn-based style games, their idea of real-time games is, Command and Conquer and that type of thing. The Twitch games, and this is not like that. It doesn't play like that, and to appreciate that, you really actually need to sort of see it going. That's why the videos are good. I'm happy to come back at some point and do a demo or a run through or something like that.
Okay, well, when the game comes out, okay, or when the public beta is done being public, maybe we could do just that, because we have the option to share your screen on here and let the gamers see what's going on.
Oh, okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. So
it's a bit like Hangouts. This is it.
I've heard of Hangouts. I don't know what it is. Devin made me.
Well, this is the spiritual successor to Google Hangouts. When people started realizing that Google Hangouts was going to stop being a thing, everybody scrambled to try to get and SteamYard is one of those spiritual successors to Google Hangouts. So
right. I still use Hangouts to communicate with Pablo, so we do this all the time. But so I've used others as well, but it's nice to be able to show a screen, and it allows you scope to demonstrate something rather than just talk about it. Talking heads are great, but
yeah. Okay, well, Dave, we'll let you go. Thank you very much. stay safe, and we'll talk to you as soon as you've got the public beta done, or the Bradley game is out, or both.
Well, the beta will go final before we, or just before we put the Bradley out. So that's the way it'll work.
Okay. All right then, guys. I'm going to let Dave go. We have some more news for you. Dave, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And have a good evening, buddy.
Ciao.
Okay. Yeah, Dave was the very first publisher I signed up when I bought Lock and Load. And okay, let me just enter there. Okay, we got some updates for you. I am going to take another break because in the way I get to grab more ice. So hold on, guys. All right.
You're listening to On the Air with Lock and Load Publishing, and we'll be right back.
Transmitting from the front lines of the wargaming world. You are watching Friendly Fire. Friendly Fire. The show where you can watch, learn, and even play our games live online. We will be showing some of our favorite tactics and answer your game questions. This is Friendly Fire.
So now that I played your promo line,
Appreciate it.
how's it been going? I mean, has Johnny been kicking your ass? You been kicking Johnny's ass? What's going on?
Well, we've gotten 2 episodes in so far, and we did the scenario first probe from Heroes Against the Red Star, and in the end, technically, I won. But by the same token, he really didn't lose. So it was kind of a game mechanic in the scenario that I understand why it was in here. Scenario special rule. I wasn't that hip on. I'm not hip on random dice rolls determining, scenario ends. But it was getting bloody. He definitely bloodied my nose, knocked out one of my APCs, and was machine gunning my troops as they were trying to make their advance forward. But a good time was had by all. Definitely getting him up on refresher on the rules, and of course, since I play solitaire a lot, it's always good to have multiplayer, or when I'm playing against a real person, refreshing, because you never know when you're getting the rules wrong. So that's always a good thing. And a lot of people have really appreciated that we're doing that, and we're going through and we're showing. And if people have questions about the rules while the game is in play, we can actually show that out. So we were originally going to be planning another episode for this Sunday, but I forgot this Storycon was going on. So
yes, let's talk about that, because
yes, that's this weekend. That is actually starting tomorrow.
All right, so let me see. Hold on. Here we go, people. Okay. Now, I believe it's all sold out.
Yes, since it's a virtual con, they limited themselves to a certain number of tickets. We participated in when the Armchair Dragoons did theirs, and I honestly think the Armchair Dragoons, they limited themselves to like 40 tickets. San Diego Historicon is 100, I think it was 153, 157, right around there, and yeah, they sold out within a week and a half, 2 weeks probably. So yes, very big interest in virtual cons. I have a feeling this is something we're going to be seeing as kind of a sister con to every con that's out there, just because of the lockdowns that's going on, and people don't want to get face to face. It's just virtual cons. Plus, with the proliferation of now Tabletop Simulator and the war game mods that are coming out on that. Plus, we've always had Vassal that we can play with. Yeah, it's becoming more prevalent. Virtual gameplay is becoming more prevalent, and virtual cons are right along there with it. The only thing I don't like about the virtual cons is I got to provide my own alcohol.
Well, you probably do at the cons anyway.
Yeah, but it's different when I say just, give me, or I could sit down with Uwe and have some of his schnapps or something.
Yeah. No. I have to say, I know Darren was quite taken by Maurice's and Uwe's alcohol. Okay. And I'm sure we'll have Darren on the show. I'm sure he will. I took a sip of something Maurice brought. Darren loved it. I was like, I did not care for it at all. And it was supposedly something that's supposed to be very good. So I'm sure you'll hear the laughter when they tell that story sooner or later.
I'm sure I will.
If you didn't catch our last episode, which was, I think, a week from today. Or
Yeah,
was
I was last Saturday, I believe.
okay, last Saturday.
Last Saturday.
We had
Harold
Harold,
Buchanan.
and he talked all about the con, what's going on, what to expect. Can you tell us a little bit what events that we're having at the con?
Okay, so what we've got going on at the con is tomorrow at 1 p.m., Keith and I are going to be running a World at War 85 introductory scenario. It's a come, learn, and play type thing. We've got 4 tickets available for that. I think they're all sold out. In fact, I'm certain they're all sold out. We've already got all the scenario decided. We're going to be doing that at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I will be streaming that live to Twitch. Just because, again, since we're using Tabletop Simulator, Twitch is just a better platform for getting a high resolution graphics out of it. So we're going to be streaming it on Twitch, our Twitch channel, LNLP. So go over there, sign up, subscribe, so you can get a chance to watch it. I will also be downloading it from Twitch and re-uploading it to YouTube later, probably sometime next week when time permitting. 9 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me, our Lock and Load Tactical Rules Guru Extraordinaire, Stefan, is going to be running a Lock and Load Tactical game at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday. So he's got 3 events that he's going to be running. I'm not sure of the tickets of that. I think he's got more tickets open, like 4 to 6 and maybe even 8, and is possibly going to be setting up multiple rooms and just kind of going over and guiding people through. I don't know what the scenarios he's going to do. I don't even know if he knows what ones he's going to do yet. But that's going to be again at 9 a.m. tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't think he's going to be streaming that due to technical issues. And then on Saturday at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, Pacific Standard Time, Keith and I will be running another World at War 85 scenario. This is kind of a little bit more intermediary, not really so much advanced, but I'm going to request that people have a pretty good firm idea. It's going to be include helicopters and a bunch of more advanced mechanics in the game. Again, that one will be streamed live. I don't think we have any tickets for that anybody signed up for. So if nobody shows up, Keith and I will probably just play each other. So one way or another, we're probably going to be streaming that one too, regardless, on Twitch. And yes, that will be downloaded, and I will re-upload it to YouTube, time permitting. Yeah, that's all we have. Rick was going to run something for Lock and Load Tactical, but I don't think he managed to get his GM's request in quick enough. So I don't think he's going to be doing that. And I just couldn't find anybody to do Nations at War for us. Whenever we do these virtual cons, as a company, we want Lock and Load Tactical, we want World at War, and we want Nations at War. So if one of these comes out, if you're versed in Nations at War, and you're versed with Tabletop Simulator, and you'd like to run a Nations of War demo game at one of these virtual cons that we're coming, get a hold of us, because I can't do it all. And we just can't seem to get the people. So if that's something you're interested in, please, the next time one of these comes up, get a hold of me.
Stefan's thing is there.
I was trying to be polite and cover for you, Stefan.
Listen, Stefan, with your editing skills, you can be incompetent in a field like this, because our incompetence is greatly in the editing side of it.
Yes.
So, there we go.
In fact, I know Mo and Harold are actually starting the first of the con meet and greets going on right now. They're talking to John Butterfield as we speak. So, and Mo and Harold are going to be running a whole series of discussions. What would they be called? Just roundtables, interviews. Have you got the link to the San Diego Historicon? Because they do have an events calendar on there. Yeah, go to sdhist.com. I'm going to say every episode that Mo and Harold are doing are going to be transmitted to YouTube, and probably going to be, and well, they are being transmitted to Mo's channel. So go to Maurice's, what is Maurice's YouTube channel.
It's
Mo's Game Table. Mo's
yeah.
Game Table. Yeah. So go over to Mo's Game Table and sign up. So if you want to watch one of those roundtables or those discussions or those panels, find out which one you want to. And like I said, Mo is going to be streaming it to YouTube. So you can, even if you're not an attendee of the con, you can at least see what is going on with those conversations.
So just so you guys know, if you're looking for any of our games to be able to play in Tabletop Simulator, there's a whole library. We can't say enough thank yous to Uwe. And he's constantly updating as we find things and do things. And that's a great.
He updated the World at War module today because there was a counter that we didn't seem to get in originally. So it was even being updated today as we speak.
So if you're looking for the modules, each module, by the way, I believe every one of them that we put up has one scenario. So if you own the board game and you have all the manuals and you just want to try it out and see how you feel, that's a great way of doing it. If you don't own the board games and you just really want to have a digital library, the core rules for all of our games are free. You can download them or you can buy a spiral-bound book. Okay. Okay, what do we want to talk about now? Devin's gone. We can talk about anything you guys want. Come on, send some questions in. But all kidding aside, if you want to, just have a digital library, you can buy just the books. They're called Compendium books now. They have all the scenarios in it, all the charts and tables, and you can play that way. And that's right on our store. Okay, what's this? Well, I'm going to wait until Devin comes back, but I will update you on that. Okay. We do have some nice progress with that, by the way. Let's see. Excuse me, gentlemen. It's been a very long couple of days here. Oh, I will say this. If you are interested in Point Blank and you can truly play test the game, and that means what we're looking for you is some help for about once a week for the next 4 to 6 weeks, trying out the game, reporting back to Sean. If you go to Facebook and go to the Lock and Load page on Facebook and check out the, what is it called, groups for Point Blank, there's a place that you can leave a message and say, hey, Sean, I'm interested in play testing. And then he will contact you until, do it soon because it's a very small amount of thing. It's really a final test just to let somebody who hasn't tried it at all, look at the rule book, look at the one or two of the scenarios and try it out. And, okay. Yes, Rick, the sale should be coming between now I'm going to say latest is Saturday. I'm actually in the process of doing that. Dave O'Connor last night, him and I chatted, and he had the public beta up, and I needed to update a lot of the stuff on the store for that. So I decided to put that first because I didn't want him getting all kinds of questions about what was going on there. I don't know what this means, Ron.
That's Ron B. That's right. That's just Ron B.
Oh, Ron. Okay. Okay, Ron wants to know about the admin count for Lock and Load Tactical. Now, the funny thing that you should ask that because
we might have some proofs. Maybe.
Well, let's
talk about these anyways.
These are the actual our printer in China's proofs of the countess. Okay, they've already been signed off on, gentlemen. So they're already printed and stuck on the chipboard. They just got to be punched is what I believe, and then they get airshipped to us. So here's that. And is this the admin counters?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Okay. I get a little teeny image on my screen, and I have to decipher, and they all say image and there's some weird number, which doesn't help me at all. And so I can only tell by clicking on it. And of course, when I click on it, you guys get to see what I'm looking at. But here are the counters, okay, for the admin sheet. There was an episode we did, I have no idea how far back it goes, where we talked about the admin counters. Oh man, I need some coffee. All right, and then here's another one of the prints. This has the stuff you looked for. case you want to talk about that, the bottom of
Oh yeah, okay. So the top set of the counters are for Forgotten Campaign, which is Bougainville. But if you look at the bottom quarter, we've got a bunch of shells that it looks there. Those are the new ordnance tank, not ordnance, but vehicle smoke shells that we have printed up. They're British and U.S. smoke shells, German smoke shells, and British and U.S. white phosphorus rounds that are going to be for a module that we have been working on. And as soon as we get the counters in, we could probably see that before Christmas. My playtesters are doing a real good job of it. They're burning through the scenarios really good, getting a lot of good feedback on it. So it's going to be a small 6 scenario pack. It's going to have, obviously 6 scenarios. It's going to have these smoke counters in it. Plus it's going to have a half sheet of U.S. infantry and British infantry. And the only thing you're going to need is Heroes of Normandy. All the maps and all the other counters that you're going to need are going to come from Heroes of Normandy. So I don't know what David has decided on the price point for that. I don't think it's going to be that expensive, but it's a nice little expansion to give us just some more scenarios as kind of a stopgap until we start getting the larger modules out.
All right. Ron, you wanted to know, are the admin counters the same size? Okay, let me just find the image again. There we go. Okay, it's a little hard to see. Let me just get rid of your comment. Okay. All right, so the counters on top, okay, the fire and all that, they're the same size as the other counters. And you can kind of see the cut lines or the cut areas there. The counters, of course, it says, I don't have that actual image here. Let's see. The victory point counters are the size of the weapon team counters, I guess. Okay, so we made them a little bit bigger. And again, these aren't necessary, you must have, but you can take the victory count and say, hey, what the heck do we have to take? And you can put those counters on there just as a reference. The objective markers, just so you know, is just a new way we're going to be showing up, and you probably will see them in the game that Devin was just talking about, where you get 3 objective markers, and one of the players could actually decide, hey, this is worth 10 points, this is worth 20 points, and so the letters are on the back side, A, B, C, and D. Now you may only get 2, you may get all 4, and it will, you put them down, and then the victory points are worth on what letters on the opposite side. So you, as the German player, may say, hey, A is worth 10 points, and C is worth 5 points, and you just put them down. So the players know where the objectives are, but they may not know what points are worth. So it's just to add a little bit more twist to it. Okay, now the hull down counter, okay, and what you cannot see here is the second floor count that we made, okay? Those are the size of the army units in the game, or vehicle units, I guess I should say. So obviously vehicles, you can figure that one out for yourself, but the second floor we did it was because if you have counters on the first floor, okay, you put one of these bigger counters on top, it says second floor, and then you can put more counters on top. It's so you can do 2 things. One, you can tell there's easily where the counters separate, and just pick it up on its side, lift it up, move it over, put it down, and you can go through whatever size you need, the second floor or the upper floor, as well as the first floor.
That's one thing that I've always run into in a lot of tactical games. ASL and SL, they had the second floor counters a little bit bigger. So there's been many times I've tried assaulting into a building thinking, oh, I suppress those guys. I'll be able to walk right in and wipe them out, spend all my movement points to go into, and realize that they're sitting on a second floor marker because I didn't check the stack. Now, since the second floor markers are bigger, you can physically see what's on the second floor rather than having to go through the entire stack. You can alter your tactics accordingly. Because normally what happens is I go in there, the next turn, they go ahead and rally and just rain a bunch of grenades on my head and kill me. So, it's happened more than once.
This is
Atlanta.
Campaign for Atlanta. Yep. It's one of the new Battles on Demand games.
I'm looking forward to this one.
This is courtesy of Roy Matheson. By the way, yesterday was his birthday, guys.
Happy birthday, Roy.
Yes, happy birthday. And he's waiting for us to get these in. He's been waiting a while for that, but I had. Let's see what else we have here. I don't know what game this is, but I will post it anyway.
Push the button, David.
No, I pushed the button. It's just spinning and spinning and spinning. Got the bid. Okay, and this one is Princeton, I believe.
Yes, Princeton or Trenton, one of the two.
Right. And so, as you guys can see, the games are coming along. Let me just see if there's any more here that's worth showing. Hold on. But Amy, who's my contact, is doing an excellent job. She's really keeping me in the loop. We have Space Infantry, Heroes of the Space Infantry game, tactical counters. They're already there. We also have Space Infantry Resurgent, Federation, sorry.
Federations, yep, Federations.
Okay. Just so you guys can see. We're not lying to you guys. See, we actually are printing counters.
Now, some of you may be asking, well, if you're printing these counters, why can't you do the lock and load tactical module counter? Well, the simple fact is these counters that we're printing, if you'll notice, some of them have got 2 different games on one sheet. And the printer count that we're doing with these counter sheets is extremely small compared to a full line module. For example, Heroes Road to Stalingrad, if we do a full print run, it's going to be close to 7,000 counter sheets. This is about 1,500 counter sheets, if that. I don't even think it's that much. It may only be 1,000, and it's much cheaper for us to fly those in. If we were to do Heroes Road to Stalingrad, have China printed up for us at 7,000 plus counter sheets, there's no way we could afford. We would probably have to double the price of the game if we wanted to air fly the counters in. We don't want to do that. That's one of the reasons why we're trying to find a printer here in the United States. We can do the print runs in China if they're small enough. And like I said, we've got 6-8 games that are in this one print order for about 1,000 counter sheets. So it in that way, it's financially viable for us to do. A full box game.
It's also a lot. The components. I mean, you don't have 8 maps. You've got 1 or 2 maps. Yeah. A counter sheet or a small rule book. So it's a little bit different, guys. And we're going to be doing a lot more of this. Ron said there was an error, a typo. I don't know.
No, he was mentioning that was Princeton. It was in the lower right hand corner, not Trenton. It was for Princeton. So yeah, I've gotten a couple questions on Discord and personal messages like, well, if you're able to print these counters, why can't you do the full module? It's a matter of volume and cost to get it to us. That's the biggest reason.
Yeah, that really is the biggest deal. Okay, let's see, guys. You got anything else for us? Oh, I got an update. The audiobook in the next audiobook for World at War 85 is called Edge of the Line. And the audiobook is being recorded as we speak.
Very good British voice actor. He's got a beautiful voice. I love his voice.
Yeah, no, that was a nice deal. Ron, I will, anybody who wants to help with this, okay? I cannot tell you printers I've called. And yeah, where, you tell them we want to do anywhere between 1,600 and 3,100 copies per game run. You've got probably all my games, Ron. So you pretty much can get an idea of the components. But yeah, I mean, if you can make a contact and someone who actually thinks like he wants to do something, let me know.
All right. There he goes.
Mike says he already has a few reads. Oh,
Andy said he'd get back to us by tomorrow afternoon.
That is excellent. Okay, guys, are there anything else you want to know? Oh, I did give the list in. I did promise. And I did get the list into the programmers do Nations at War of the feature list. I did talk to the leader of that company today. He wanted me to stress that, yes, we are a little bit behind the schedule we gave. And him and I talked today about revamping the schedule. So I have some dates that are hopefully going to be met on time. These guys are doing an excellent job. Okay. Like I said, I ran Matrix for many years and they're doing a better job than a lot of guys over the years I've dealt with as far as time and everything else. Oh, my old dark friend, Kickstarter. I'm waiting for Kickstarter to approve the Kickstarter. So it really comes down to it.
Well, you should probably mention which Kickstarter because we
No, because I got more than one update. I don't know which one I'll go for.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said I really don't know last time we asked this, because I really don't know. Part of it is we have 4 in the hopper right now. 2 of them are waiting on the developers to get close enough that I feel comfortable that it'll get finished, whether, God forbid, something happens to anyone else. I don't want to be, I don't want to be the publisher that, hey, we got this great Kickstarter, now we're going to develop it. We try to have all the development and production done, okay, or at least I know I can do it myself and not have to worry about it.
Too many Kickstarters out there go, pay us to do it, and then we'll develop it and get the game to you in 3 or 4 years. We don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, fact is, the last game took almost as long to ship as it did to print, which was sad. But we're making changes for that. Rick, you want to know about World at War 85? Okay. I do know that most of the maps, the counters and scenarios, Mark Van Marshall is doing with Keith right now. The 3rd volume, I forget the name of it.
We Will Hold.
We Will Hold. That's it. Yep. That one is got a lot more ways to go on it, but Nicholas is working on that with Keith and Jeff, and they're moving at a pretty good clip, honestly.
Yeah, they are.
The one thing we haven't decided with this one yet, although I pretty much think what we're going to do is we are going to at least offer, Volume 2, Blood and Fury, and or have an option that you can add We Shall Hold, okay? We're not going to have it set up in such a way that you can get You Shall Hold or Blood and Fury. You'll have to get Blood and Fury. And the reason is it's because how the printer has to do it and package it. Okay. So far, I've only had 1 or 2 people complain that it may make it too expensive for them to buy it. Everyone else was like, do both. And if both games are so close to each other, there's no reason to do it. And to do it separately, honestly, all that's going to do is delay it even another month, because I'll have to run one Kickstarter, get that complete, turn around and run a second Kickstarter, get that complete, and I'd rather just do it together. And it also make the shipping easier, because if I can put both games in the box, it'll make life a heck of a lot easier for everybody. Yeah, I just saw it on my watch come up, Ron. So yeah, as soon as I get some time, I will take a peek at that. I've got to read 2 books, scripts. I've got to finish putting up the whole store for the sale. Yeah, both is good. Okay, that's what I figured. Oh, all the companion books, okay, for Lock and Load Tactical are done at the printers and ready to go. Okay, so if you can go ahead and order them, even if it doesn't say companion, again, wait for the sale. There is going to be a sale for them. I didn't say that out loud because Darren will yell at me. But yes, there will be a sale for them, and order away. Order early, guys, for a couple of reasons. One, Pueblo, where we live, is having a major COVID outbreak. A lot of things are getting shut down, sometimes for a couple of days. It could be longer. And if you listen to the news, which I don't recommend, very depressing, they're talking another 4 to 6 weeks shutdown, very likely. So the faster you get them, the better. Remember, the books are spiral bound, so they are being print on demand. So if your demand doesn't come first, it may not come at all.
Well, plus remember, we're moving into Christmas season, and that's going to slow down all mail deliveries anyways. So
yeah. So the sooner you guys can do that, it would really be helpful. We do shut down normally right before Christmas or so. Okay, so we do shut down before Christmas Eve. We might shut down 2 days, 3 days. It depends where the Christmas day falls and the holidays and all that. And I give the staff a 2-week break there at the warehouse and everything else, so they can enjoy Christmas and New Year's. And then we get brand new bullwhip in January. and get things right back going on again. Okay. The second batch of counter sheets will go out, God willing, to the printers in January, because we want to get the second batch of counters out before the Chinese New Year hits. Okay. We will be doing. Someone's complaining about a delay. Read my shirt, guys. Let me just see. There you go. Okay. I wore that tonight just for you guys. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to make sure to get those out the door. The other thing that is being worked on is the compendiums for Lock and Load Tactical. They are being updated, and I'm going to tell you now, if you already have them, do not go buy these unless you just got money to burn. Then I will happily take it. Okay. The Lock and Load Tactical books are going to be updated. One or two articles may have been updated because it matches the new 5.0 star rules. This has been updated since 4.1. So
4.1, yeah.
So, and now what do we update? Are there any new scenarios? No. All we did was, if we knew we had some corrections from the CNC document, those are being implemented. We updated the introduction just because some of the information we're telling you is irrelevant at this stage of the game. And we put in all the new charts and tables, combat tables, reference tables in the back of the compendium books for you.
Well, there is one other thing that we did with the compendiums. New covers.
Yes.
So if that's a deal breaker for you, if anything you buy has to have a new cover, doesn't matter if nothing's changed in it. If you just have to have the new cover, well, there you go. We've got new covers for you.
Yeah, we have two of them here. I'm not going to say this is final, but I'm pretty close. I'm pretty sure it's final.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be final.
Well, the whole object, like I said, was to get them out the door quickly. So hold on, guys, while I download these for you. One of the pictures I'm sure you're going to recognize. Wow. Is the internet just going slow today?
Not on my end. Maybe because it's so cold, it's freezing up your internet pipes. That could be.
It's definitely chilly here. I'm not going to deny that. And these books are spiral bound now, too, guys, just to clarify that.
Surprisingly enough, we had Stefan go over him with his usual fine-tooth comb, and he found much fewer mistakes and changes that needed to be made in those than he did in 5.1. So there's not that much that has been changed or is different from the original compendiums. If you've got the original compendiums, you're still perfectly fine being able to use them, play with them just fine. If you got to have the new updated ones, please buy them. We will not offer any resistance to that.
Yeah, the whole, let me just see what these covers want to. Now, here we go. Okay. This is the Compendium Volume 2. Okay. And for those who don't know who that is, that's Kev Sharp with his little smirk at us. And, it's basically, I think, the store already has the new covers or the scenarios that are listed there, what games you're required to have them. Volume 2, I believe, doesn't come with any maps. It's just strictly scenarios and some, I don't even think it has articles in it. On the back of these books, which we will update the store once I get the final ones on my desk, it's going to list all the maps you're supposed to get right now. So it'll say 6 maps, and it will also tell you what the map numbers are. Now, let me say this too. For the limited time, when it will end, it will be based on when I run out of maps. We are going to include both the X maps and the standard maps. So when you order the compendiums, you're going to get those maps as well. Okay, and I got one more for you. I see this comments galore coming in now. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, you know what, Dennis, we should get you covered. You can surprise him. He doesn't even know we did this.
Dean, I made the mistake of calling. I know.
Sorry, Dean. You know, I thought that was wrong too, and I said, "Well,
yeah, I know. I'm the one that started this cavalcade of mistakes on Dean's name. I apologize.
As long as you know it's him, Dean, and not me, I don't care."
Yeah, no, I take full responsibility. Total.
And if not, we'll still blame him anyway, guys. Okay, we got one more for you, and it is that one. Now, this guy you probably don't know as well, but when you get a counter made in the game, you could pop up anywhere. Okay, and this is for Volume 1, and that is Trent Gardner, and he is the gentleman that does all of our vassal modules, and we got a counter made up for him. He's appearing in your game, I think.
He is appearing in my game, I believe. Yes.
Okay. And let's see. What does it say there? Yeah, you see, you're saying that now because he made the mistake. If it was me, I would never hear the end of it.
See, I'm never going to appear on his show again because of that. So, I've paid my pound of flesh in.
Well, you know what's going to happen? You're going to think it's somebody else because you're not going to get the name right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, he's a German on the Eastern Front. Of course, that's a serious face. Now, I will say a couple of things about this. I want to pull up my email for this. On this particular game, there's been a lot of confusion. Pretty much because it's impossible for us to know all of these maps and stuff that are in here. And let's see if I'm right. Okay. Just to give you guys a quick rundown. Okay, on Compendium Volume 1, which are most of these things, if not all of them, but a lot of them came from the Line of Fire magazine.
Line of Fire magazine.
A while ago. There's 27 scenarios. Now, I may be off one or two, but I did this count last night. And you get 6 maps. There's 13 articles in there. Now, there's a map, I'm going to say 54. And it is a very famous scene from Band of
Brothers
when they're attacking and assaulting the German
88s
in the trenches. Okay, that map is not the normal lock and load size.
Yeah.
So it's double-sided because one side has the trench, one side does not. Okay, and we did that so we could put some tank battles on there. We thought it was a nice size map. So if you get the large X map, so if you order this, the X map for this is not really an X map. It's an extreme triple X map. No pun intended there. It is humongous, these hexes. Okay. Why did we do that? We didn't. The printer, I don't know what the hell he did, but he made a mistake, misunderstood what we were telling him, and he blew this up gigantically. And it's not broken; it's just big. Is really what it comes down to. Okay, for the first volume, here you need to own one or more of these games. The more you own of these games, the more you're going to get more bang for your buck. So Heroes of Normandy, Heroes of the Motherland, Noville, Bastone's Outpost, Heroes of the Pacific, and Heroes of Defiance. Okay, and then mixed and matched. I won't go through that now. Volume 2, okay, the one Kev showed up on the cover, has 12 scenarios and 11 articles. Okay, you need Heroes of Normandy, Heroes Against the Red Star, Heroes in Defiance, Day of Heroes, and Heroes of the Nam. I guess the one thing I didn't say was Volume 1 is World War II, okay, what we call World War II era. Volume 2 is modern. Okay, Volume 3 is World War II again. I don't have a cover for that. It has 26 scenarios, 6 maps, and again, Heroes of Normandy, Heroes of the Motherland, Noville, and Heroes of the Pacific. And the last one is a modern one. It's Volume 4. And it has 12 scenarios, 5 maps, 8 articles, and says it needs the same games. I think the text for the games are wrong, guys, because Volume 4 is modded and it's saying all these World War II modules.
Well, it's requiring the maps from those.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Volume 4 needs Day of Heroes, and I don't see that listed on the second batch. My guess it's a typo. I'm looking through the emails that the guys
right.
back and forth with. Okay. So we still have some big announcement that we're just not quite there yet. But it's coming, yeah. How you doing, buddy, from Russia?
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
That's got to be late your time.
Well, or it's very early the next morning.
Or very early the next morning, depending on where in Russia you're at.
Yeah. Okay, guys, got anything else for us? So, again, we'd like to thank Dave O'Connor for coming from Panther Games. It's been a while since we really focused on his project. We wanted you to, we've been kind of waiting for him to get the next one ready, and he seems to be right out the door. And again, the big thing this week is the show, Storycon, San Diego Con, right?
San Diego Historicon, yep.
Okay. And that's it. And this is the new one coming out. Okay. Deb, you have anything else that we should update anybody on that we are not remembering?
If we're not remembering it, how do we know we're supposed to cover it?
Well,
I'm
always remember something.
No, I think we covered everything that we were going to want to cover. The biggest was getting the interview with Dave on, and then we touched on pretty much everything else we wanted to touch on. I can't think of anything else. At least anything else we want to speak of as of yet.
All right, guys. I will. It's later for me than later for Deb. I don't care. Do any of you guys want to come on the show now? I'll send you a link and just chat with Devin and I, talk about anything. I mean, guys, we appreciate you coming on, watching. But if you want to jump on and just chit chat or ask some questions, or anybody,
we don't bite. We couldn't even if we wanted to.
Well, it depends. It's a little bit after dinner, so we're safe.
Well, it's all virtual. It's not like we can actually reach them.
Oh, don't underestimate the power. Okay, well, the silence is loud. I'm going to take it everyone's done.
Yep, I think so.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will goodbye, gentlemen. I'd like to say again, stay safe. God bless. And we really do appreciate all the time you spend with us, and your questions you do ask, although you could ask more. All right, so have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Well, that is all you have for this episode. Keep gaming, and may God bless you and keep you until next time. On the air is a Lock and Load Publishing production.